All righty, guys, we're going to get rocking and rolling. Happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about virtual staging and the seller's property disclosure statement. So we're going to kick it off with virtual staging here. We have Karen Ackley with Next Door Photos. They're awesome. They do all our photos and do a fantastic job. Karen, if you don't mind, can you kind of tell us what virtual staging is all about, what you guys can and can't do, and we'll kind of expand on that and open it up for questions.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I love seeing a lot of familiar faces. And virtual staging, it is one of those where it's really just photos. Whenever you go into a property and there's nothing there and there's a blank slate, it is virtually putting furniture into that home. And to be honest, the better way to do it is just by pictures and to show you. Every home doesn't need it. And in my opinion, some people choose to do it in every home. I don't think every home needs it. But there's a couple different reasons of why. But before going on, I actually, if I can I share the screen there?
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And don't mind me, I was trying to go through it drives my husband crazy. I've got like 10 million tabs up. Doing things. So here we go. And I'll pull up, actually, Kong did one recently.
I only have
I figured I would pull up his
screen to show you. Karen, on my end.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay, that showed you there. I think I have to reshare it with, I apologize. Reshare it showing a different screen. Some other. Sorry, guys. Do you see that?
Yes.
Can you see? Okay.
Yep.
Now we can.
Yeah. So here's an example. This is a property that Kong had listed not too long ago. And it's a beautiful property. It was a higher end property. And it was one of those where like it had a couple of things in it, but it didn't have too much. But you just, how do you utilize the space? And there wasn't really a way to be able to look at that for some people. Some people are in their minds, they can picture what the property will look like. But a lot of people, most people can't. So to be able to see how you can utilize the space, virtual staging is just putting in furniture, putting in decor items to be able to utilize this and see how you can utilize the space well. And with our virtual staging, if you look, there's like natural shadows. Whichever virtual staging company that you go with, just make sure that it looks realistic. Sometimes they're just kind of plopped on top, and I'll kind of fly through. Here's a few other examples of what it does look like. And this once again is Kong's property. And a few additional properties here, and I'll just kind of fly through. So this is basically showing you what it is. And while I'm showing you pictures, I'll kind of double up things, but talking about the why doing it. First of all, it does, if you can show the space and how it's used well, this looks more appealing to people online than this does. And you can obviously, in the listing, you want to show this is what the room looks like without it. You're not hiding anything. You're not covering up stuff, but this is what it could look like with stuff in it. And it just gives people a perspective of what the property could look like. And I don't know how many of you have had like real staging done, and the average is right around $1,500 to have live staging done. And I'm not saying that's wrong either. I know a lot of stagers and they do phenomenal work. And it's great whenever you have people coming through, then the furniture is there. I'm just talking about options that you have. The furniture is there when they walk through the home. So it is a great option. It is definitely an expensive option because it does average around $1,500 to do that. I know a lot of people that we work with, they have a lot of stuff on hand. where if you're not virtually staging something, to be honest, and sometimes there's one agent I can think of in particular, every single home, I know I'm going to see the exact same birds. I'm going to see the exact same stuff around, but it makes a huge difference even to have something simple staging done. But there are times when simple staging makes sense. And there are times whenever virtual staging makes sense. And there are times, I'm sure, whenever real staging makes sense too. Here's a few other examples. But it does, I have statistics. If anyone wants them, I'm happy to send some, but staging sells houses for more money. Staging in general, not just virtual staging, but staging. Showcases the intended use of the space, as I mentioned before. It's more affordable. Virtually staging something is more affordable. We charge per image. I don't know how other companies do it, but we do charge per image. So you could choose, maybe there's like some, typically, you know, people choose the key spaces. They choose maybe the living room and the primary bedroom. Sometimes the kitchen or dining area, but mainly the key spaces. It's fast turnaround. It's the same as the photos are next day, but then the virtual staging is the day after. So it'd be a 2-day turnaround. And then you have tons of design options to be able to look through. And there's less contact. I mean, it's not as huge of a thing. Huge of a thing anymore, but there is less contact involved. We do also, as you can see, like patio furniture and some random things. We've done some really random. I know Kong actually asked for some cars in a garage, and we can do actually cars in a garage. Or what else have we done that's been really random? Around, well, pool furniture and everything. I can't remember what it was, but there was a really random virtual staging request, and our editors were able to do it. It looked awesome, and I can't remember what it was. So yeah, here's a few more examples. So that's the and those are just some other examples of other photos. I'm going to put our portfolio here in the comments so that you guys can see it. And then just as far as how to order, it's really simple too on our ordering site. You can choose. You can either choose to virtually stage, choose your own options. You can choose to do it, put it in at the order. There's a lot of agents that like to receive their photos back and choose the images that they want to have virtually staged. Or you can just say, I want 3 rooms, kitchen, primary, dining room. You choose and you take care of everything. So it can be totally hands off. We do a lot of different ways to do it. So as far as the process itself, you go to our website, which I'll also put in the comments when I'm done here. You hit schedule. You choose a day and a time. Let's see, Thursday, 1:30. This is when our team is available. And then you choose, these are the add-on prices. Here's a tip. The add-on prices are significantly different than just buying standalone. If you bought standalone aerial photos, it would be, it's $175, whereas the add-on is $90. So it's a big difference. But once you add them to a photo pack, because we can send one person with multiple products, it just makes sense. But here's where you see those add-on prices. And I can send a price sheet to Brooks. But here's where the add-ons are. You would choose virtual staging. And then you choose how many photos do you want to stage. And then you can choose the styling options. You choose for me. I would like to choose. If you choose, I would like to choose, you can actually go through and see all of the options. And if there's not an option that's in there and you want something custom, let me know. There's a possibility we can make it work. Then you write the room to be staged, or in here you can say, I'd like to choose after. That's fine too. If you want to put in the code, that's up to you. But it's basically, I want to show you this because it's really simple. Put in the address, put in the access instructions, approximate square footage, any additional comments you want, hit continue, and you are done and you're good to go. But as far as virtual staging, does anyone have any questions or like when about like when to use it, when not to use it, or any other questions that we may be able to help you with?
I have a quick
Yes,
question.
I have a question. Could, do you have to come out and take photos? If I have photos already done, can I send those to you and you can stage them that
Yeah.
way, or do you have to take the photos?
That's a great question. We have had we have had the situation. I mean, you own the, if, are you talking about getting them professionally done or you doing them yourself?
No, I have professional photos already done, but
Uh,
like, if I sent them to you to get staged, would you, virtually stage it for me?
right. I've had that question before. I never like to kind of like um, create any conflict between other companies that would offer it, but you own the rights to the photos once you purchase them, because we, like I said, we've had that situation before, and we have virtually staged other photographers' photos. So yes, it can be done legally. Yes, it can be done, and we would do that for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes other photographers just don't offer virtual staging too. So, I mean, if you have somebody that you're loyal to, that's, we always appreciate loyalty. We hope that when people use us, that they're loyal as well. So,
Do you feel that we should put any sort of disclaimer in the MLS that says that the photos are virtual staged?
yes. And that's something, and I can look more into those details, but that is something, like I was saying before, there's nothing to hide, because what you're doing is you are showing, there's nothing to hide because you're going to write in a disclaimer. But what you're doing is you're trying to show people how to use the space. You're not trying to hide what's in the space. You're trying to show people how to use the space. So I would definitely, and this is what I would have to check because each MLS is different, and I need to check with ours. But as far as putting a disclaimer on the photo itself, I would write it definitely in the notes, but I don't know if you have to have it on the picture itself. But yes, if you put the disclaimer on, I would show the picture without the furniture and the picture with the furniture. So like flipping through so that you could say, here's the space. Here's what it looks like with the space. And then putting that disclaimer on there. I'm going to look more in what they require, because I actually think they do require.
That's how we got to this call today, is an agent came in and wanted to get some virtual staging done. And I didn't know the answers to those questions as to, we told them to go ahead and at least put it in the agent remarks and in the public remarks if possible. But, if it can be labeled on the photo, that would make it even easier.
Yeah. And that's something, what I'll do, I mean, it is legal. It is definitely legal, but I'm going to look in and I'll give you the exact answer to that from Bright. And then also if there's something too that they recommend that we do for that, if you want it to be done on a photo, if they recommend that, we can just make that a standard for you guys, for your team to put it on there. Right now, agents are taking that upon themselves to take care of that. But if the MLS has something where instead of you doing it in there and we can just do it to take it off your hands, then that's something that we'll do. So I'll look into that, Tim, and I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sounds good. Mr. Voorhees, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I did. Just real quick. So when I saw the pricing there, was that per room or per item? So like if I choose like one room, it's $40 and you guys just fill it with furniture? Is that right?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. That's a good question. It is per room. It's per set. So if you are in, we normally try to choose an angle that highlights that one space really well. Sometimes there is like a dining room that looks into the living room. So if you have an entire dining room set and an entire living room set, there is an additional cost to that. So, but the cost that you see on there, it's per room. And when we choose it, we always choose an option to highlight that one set well.
Great, thanks. I'll have one for you next week.
Steve?
2 weeks.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else have any more questions on the virtual staging? Has anybody used it? Kara, Jim?
Oh, I know Kong has from your office. I don't think that I know of anyone else from your office that has used us at least for virtual staging yet. We do have a lot of other new options too, and I'll send that price list for reels, and like there's just a lot of other things. It's a standard now. Pretty much people are adding floor plans. Sellers are choosing agents statistically that are using floor plans. So now we've created a package option. It's $25 more than just the photos. It's $160 for photos, a floor plan, a listing website, and a Twilight conversion. And I know, Steve, you've gotten that package often. And Brooks, I know you guys have too, but it's for, instead of photos would be $135 for something less than 2,300 square feet. And for all of that, it's only $160.
And
Because statistically, that's where people are going. So say it again.
You said about reels, so you're making like videos too out of the pictures?
Yes. So there are reel options now. There's a couple different options for that. And please tell me if I want to respect your time too. So cut me off if I'm going too long.
Okay.
So we do a vertical option for reels, a simple one-shot walkthrough of the property. You see it all the time on Facebook, but we walk through the property, vertical orientation, so you can use them for social posts, but it is a $50 add-on just to walk through the property. So that is a great add-on option. Another reel option is it's like just a photo slideshow reel. And that's just a simple, they'll take the photos from your listing, put it in, I feel if I pull something up right now, it'll go into my emails. I can pull up most recent listing, but I don't want to, I know all my emails will pop up. But it's just a photo slideshow in different, like different shapes and stuff of the photos of your listing, real short. And then we can customize it. We can put your logo at the end, but it's just a real quick, I mean, that's a $10 add-on for one. You could get, if it's a listing and you want content for a month, you could do, it's $10 for one, 15 for two, or 15 for three, and then 20 for five. And then you could kind of spread those out throughout the month if it's a larger property. That's another option for reels. And then we have an NDP tour. And I know, Steve, you've purchased a couple of these too, but that one's are you familiar with Matterport?
Mm-hmm.
So Matterport's awesome. And we offer Matterport. I don't promote it a ton because you're paying for the name and you're paying for the hosting, but we do it if you want it. It's like a dollhouse effect. So NDP, Next Door Photos, we've created our own version of it, and it's not quite as high quality, but once people have used it, they've continued using it, and it's only a $50 add-on. So it's basically, you can move from dot to dot and actually turn the property, do a 360. It's from 360 image to 360 image of the entire property. And you can also, it's cool, you can, with your phone, you can actually change, like look at it as if you're walking through the home. Steve, maybe you can explain that. I know we did that with yours. So
yeah, I like the NDP product you have. I forget what that stands for, but Next Door Photos. Yeah, but yeah, it's the virtual thing is great. I'm not usually a really big fan of virtual like walkthroughs and stuff, to be honest with you. But when my clients ask for it, that's a really reasonable price, and it's a good product too. I mean, my sellers all like it. You can walk through it. I'm more of a fan of the great high quality photos you do, and the drones and stuff like that. But the virtual stuff is great to, I guess in some cases, and with when the sellers ask for it, absolutely.
When the sellers
it's
ask,
a good product. Yeah, for sure.
A good thing, just so you know too, like we don't push products. If you ever have questions about what may be, or you have questions about virtual staging, or if you have questions about different products, you can always ask. We'll give you information, but if it doesn't make sense, like sometimes virtual staging just doesn't make sense. And like we're honest with it. And the same thing with photos. If you order a 45 pack and we go in and it takes 25 photos to capture the property, we'll say, hey, you don't need that much. We'll just reimburse the difference. And the same thing, if you order something that's too small and it's not capturing the space well, how does one room connect to the next room? What are the key elements of the space? Windows, doors, closets. How can you tell how you're walking through the property? If we can't capture it well with a photo pack you order, we'll give you a call. You could choose to bump it. If we squeeze it, that's fine too. We have agents that want to do that, but just know there's going to be some key elements of the space that may not be shown. So.
Jim?
I was just gonna ask, Karen, I know you have like a square footage cutoff. You always ask, is it 1,800 and less for 25 photos, or what's that cutoff point?
Yeah, on our website, it says up to 1,800 square feet for the 25 photo pack. And Jim, I didn't know you were on either. You'd be a good one to ask some of these for. What we've found that we can capture well, it kind of gets into that gray area around 2,300 square feet. That's kind of like around that space, it's getting into the, we may have to bump it. We may be able to do it well in the smaller package. But the same thing, if you're ever close and you're unsure, you can always go with the 25, put it in the notes. Hey, if you need more, let me know. But once again, we never try to stretch it. If you want, here's another thing too. If it is a flip, and your sellers flipped it, they want the stuff in the space sometimes. And so when we capture the space, we're capturing the space. So it may not catch that really close image of the backsplash that the seller flipped the property and paid thousands of dollars for. So if they want to highlight some of the stuff in the space, you may need a larger photo pack for that. That's just something to think about too.
Okay.
Any other questions? So I can, speak highly enough of these guys. Karen, Mark, they're great people and run a fantastic company. They've done a ton for us and all their product is amazing. In addition to some of the virtual staging, I personally have had them like on a new driveway that we put in, if there's kind of dirt marks of somebody with their vehicle, tire marks on that new asphalt. If you need that stuff moved or removed or photoshopped out, they can do that. I think we had you remove a hose, garden hose in the front yard before. They can do some really crafty stuff in addition to the virtual staging. Just touching again on the disclosure part of that, I think it is wise to obviously put something in the agent remarks in regards to we've virtual staged some rooms of the property. I know you guys too on the fireplaces put like a fire as if the fireplace is on. So it's probably smart too to put in the agent remarks that the fireplace was virtually staged. We don't guarantee any types of conditions of those fireplaces. So just be heads up when you're having this stuff done and put that verbiage in there to protect yourself.